Hey everyone, welcome to Comics with Bueller. As always, I'm Bueller, and today is episode 141 of the brand new Coffee and Comic Show. And as you can see, I'm not alone. I got my good friend Bob here with me as normal. Bob, how you doing today?
Doing well. I'm very happy. This is episode what? 131? 132?
141.
141.
Yes.
It's amazing.
It's cruising right along.
Almost to 150. So this is awesome. So, and then we got somebody here with us. This is exciting.
We do. We have this guy right here, Justin Richards, who's making his his second appearance on the Coffee. We actually did a special episode just for you.
I got the treatment. Yeah.
You did. So it wasn't even a numbered. It was a special edition coffee show. And now you're actually on the official program right now. And it fits that you're on because we're talking about comic book creators on this episode. And you are, in fact, a comic book creator.
I am.
And let's talk about, real quick, a couple of those books because there's one sitting right there in front.
Yeah.
The one that I kind of got to know you from is Finger Guns. Tell us about about that book and how special it is to you, my friend.
Oh, it's very special to me. So Finger Guns was my first book. It's what most people know me by. It's my only published work, but yeah, it's a book about a couple kids who figure out that they can affect emotions with finger guns, and then they create all kinds of chaos from there. So.
That's right. I'm a big fan of that book. When that book came out, I loved it, and then all of a sudden, guess what happened? The coronavirus happened, and everything got delayed and stuff. We're all waiting for it, and it finally came out with 5 issues, correct?
Correct.
And as you know, we were just talking, I sold a bunch of my collection. This was one of the books I kept.
Aww.
And of course, it's autographed to me from you, so I appreciate that. But that's not the only one, because I picked up something from you from the con that we went to.
Yeah.
And this is the Silent Night, correct?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about, or tell them about that one?
So A Silent Night I did on Kickstarter. It's a comic zine, more than a traditional comic. It's only got like a 5-page story in it. It's all silent. It's a book about anxiety and depression and the stuff that we all kind of deal with. And I had a lot of great talented friends do some pinup pictures for it, and we did fun little activities. Like I called it it was like a Mad Lib, but I called it a Sad Lib, and stuff like that. I'm really proud of that one too. That one was. I partnered with the Anxiety and Depression Association of America for it, and did all kinds of. It was a really good time, and
very nice.
Yeah, it came to life.
Well, I was happy I got a copy of it. You just so happened to have one on you when I ran into you at the Comic-Con. So I was like, "Do you have it?" You're like, "Yes." I was like, "I'll take it." So you autographed that for me as well. As you guys can see, this is a different format. Since we have 3 people, it's just easier for us to shoot in this angle to try to get everyone in the camera. We're all kind of, let's just say, bigger guys. So it's we gotta use a wide lens to get all this manliness in the frame.
Yes.
So
the widest lens.
you have another project we're gonna talk about a little bit later, but we're gonna put Justin to work today. He's part of the show, so he's gonna be reading comments and doing all the stuff that me and Bob do. There you go. But we start off with the coffee we're drinking, and the coffee is brought to you by Mocha Express, and you are drinking the Bueller, which is my coffee named after me. How do you like the Bueller?
It's good. You taste delicious.
That's right. You're not the only man to say that, man. That sounds horrible. You liked it. Awesome, man. But that's courtesy of Mocha Express. That's our local coffee shop that we go to all the time. What do you have, Bob?
I went completely different this week, and I got myself, since this guy was paying for it, I went and got myself a Mexican mocha, an iced Mexican mocha, and I really like it. It's
nice.
Good. Yeah.
That sounds good.
Who said I'm paying for it?
Tasty. You did. The tab is sitting there waiting for you to pay.
I don't know about that. Whoosh, it's vanished.
It's vanished, huh?
No tab.
All right, I'm not showing up that next week.
I'm having a hazelnut latte. It's just hazelnut. That's it. Yeah, it's one of my mainstays. You know, I get it every now and then when I just kind of feel normal. And today I'm trying to feel normal because I got you 2 gentlemen here kind of in between here. It's a little, look that way, don't look this way, look that
Sandwich.
way. There you go. So let's go ahead and go through a rundown of what we're going to be talking about today. We'll start off the show with some thank yous and some announcements. We'll have our first 5 brought to you by Bird City Comics. You know their website, birdcitycomics.com, and the code Bueller save 10%. We have our topic today brought to you by Black Box Comics. You can also go to their website, blackboxcomics.net, and then the code Bueller10. You save 10%. And our topic, like I said, is going to be our favorite or best creators of comic books. That's why we got Justin here today. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
why not? You know,
I'm my favorite. No,
he's one of my favorites that's been on the coffee show. How about that?
There we go.
He's the only one.
I was the first one.
There you go.
I know that.
And then we'll have our final 5 brought to you by Bird City Comics. We have our Was It Good segment brought to you by Comics on Coffee. You can go to their website, and then the code Bueller, you save 15% on the coffee. That's where we read a bunch of books we talk about the books we read and the books we're going to read next week. And then we have our random thoughts. In our random thoughts, we're going to talk about Justin's new project. We're going to talk about our expectations about Eternals. None of us have seen it yet, so we're just going to talk about what we expect from it. And I want to ask you guys an opinion on something that was on the channel this past week and just see what your thoughts are. And that's going to be about it. We're going to be ready to go and call it good. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and jump right into some announcements really fast. And first things first, I want to say thank you for our Patreons. Our Patreon is the price of one comic book a month, $3.99 a month. If you want to join our Patreon, please do so. If you think Bob's worth $3.99 a month, you think I'm worth $3.99 a month, if you think this guy's worth $3.99 a month,
every once in a while,
join our Patreon. Keeps the lights on, keeps the reels rolling, everything going, all that good stuff. We have a new member, Kirk I don't normally pronounce the last names just in case you don't want it pronounced. So Kirk, thank you so much for joining our Patreon. Also, I want to say last week I announced my new exclusive, Mars Attacks Red Sonja by Dynamite Comics. It didn't launch that day. All the work and effort we put into it and the show and everything, you couldn't even buy it. You actually couldn't buy it until yesterday. So 5 days later, it actually went on sale. Right now, it's on sale. The link is down below. It's the Indiegogo campaign. It just started yesterday. There's 30 days left in the campaign. Our goal is to beat Gem Mint's goal. When they did it, they had their first campaign. I think they did like $12,000. That is our goal, is to beat Gem Mint.
There we go.
And as you can see on the cover that's on the screen, I am on the cover of the book. It is a true first appearance of Bueller on the cover of the book, done by Dan Jurgens, the legendary Dan Jurgens, who killed Superman.
The guy that killed Superman.
The guy who killed Superman gives life to Comics with Bueller on the cover of a comic book. This is the first appearance. It'll only happen once. This is it. I'm pretty excited. So if you guys want to jump on this, please do so. There's a bunch of different options you can do. We're doing signed copies with me and Dan Jurgens. We're doing individual copies and a bunch of different stuff. And we're going to probably add some stuff as well. I know you said you picked up your copy, right?
Yes, I already picked up my copy. Can't wait to get it.
Which one did you get?
What's that?
Which one did you get?
Just the main cover.
Just the main cover?
Yeah.
You know, I might have some extra.
That'd be awesome. I know you normally do, but I want to support you. Oh. And so I just wanted to make sure that I was part of that $12,000.
And I know you already bought one, right?
Totally. No, I didn't know, but I will be definitely looking.
There you go. You know a guy.
I know a guy.
There you go. But anyway, please support the campaign. I'm really excited to see how it does. I'm going to be promoting this all month that it's going on, and really it's because of you guys that I get to do this and get the opportunity to be on the cover. I mean, it's our dream to be on the cover. This gentleman made a comic book, which is fantastic. I mean, I would love to have that.
I've never been on a cover, though.
Well, you can make it happen. You know? But, I mean, to have the skill level and the knowledge to make a comic book, that's one thing. And I don't know if I'll ever be able to have a chance to do that, but just being able to have someone put me on the cover feels pretty good. So
that's got to be awesome. Dan Jurgens.
Yeah, exactly. And I know people who make comic books, so they might want to put me in the comic book as a character. Second time on the show, man.
We'll kill you.
There you go. He's dead. So anyway, so thank you everyone who signed up so far. I think we're already at about $2,000, maybe a little bit more. Awesome. But our goal is to get to that $1,200 or $12,000 mark. So thank you. I know we're going to get there. Let's go ahead and jump into our first 5, brought to you by Bird City Comics. And Bob, you want to go first?
Sure thing. So I brought some more of the Marvel Masterpiece covers. These have been coming out in the last month, and so these are amazing pieces of work by Joe Jusko. Here's the Hulk versus Thing one.
And you're loving these, aren't you?
I am. I just love every single one of them because I collected the cards back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Here's the Green Goblin. And then we got some She-Hulk action here. Oh, yeah. We got Deathbird. I love this cover. And then last but not least, this freaky Hobgoblin cover. And there's my little Halloween homage. There you go.
That's very cool.
Appropriate time of year.
Absolutely.
I'm going to enlist your help because I can't really reach that thing. So I will just hand them to you. You can put them there.
Per book.
There you go. That's the way to work it, buddy.
This is Spawn Universe #1, a different variant cover. I really like that one. I just
love
picked
that
it up.
cover.
This is Knighted #1, a brand new book by AWA. I enjoyed that. I read that book. I'll be talking about it a little bit later. This is Spawn 323, the great...
the Clan.
Yeah, I love that one. That's one of my favorites. This is a New Byrne #1. I know Bob read that. He'll be talking about that later as well. And then I have the Me, You, Love in the Dark #4, one of my favorite books out right now by Scotty Young.
I actually haven't heard of that one. Scotty Young?
Yep.
I think you'd like it if you like ghost sex.
I mean, who doesn't?
Who doesn't, right?
Issue 3 is all about ghost sex, and issue 4 is about what happens after the ghost sex. And it does not go well, so anyway.
It makes me... there was a movie or something I saw recently where there was, like, ghosts having sex in a room, and it was Doom Patrol. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they had to like, get them out. It was funny.
Awesome. So that's our first 5, brought to you by Bird City Comics. You go to their website, enter the code Bueller, save 10%. Let's go ahead and jump right on board to our topic, and our topic is brought to you by Black Box Comics. Like I said before, blackboxcomics.net. Bueller 10%. You guys got the deal. But Bob, you were going to be up first with the first comment. Like I said, this is about the comic book creators and our favorite, the best creators are, and what our thoughts are. So you were up first with Todd.
First one comes from Todd Inman. He says, one of my favorite artists who did transformative artwork in the Silver Age was Jim Steranko. His cover art for Incredible Hulk Annual #1 is iconic, along with Captain America covers 110, 111, and 113. Probably my favorite Steranko cover is X-Men #50, where he changed the old logo to the 3D logo we now associate with the X-Men covers. Polaris is on the cover. Polaris on the cover is awesome. His Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. work is second to none at that time. Great comment.
Fun enough. Finger Guns #1. We had a variant cover by Tim Daniel and Nathan Gooden, and it was a Steranko Nick Fury Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. homage.
Nice.
It was really cool.
Have you met Steranko ever?
No.
He's an interesting cat.
Though,
He really is. He really
he's
is.
Like a he's like
I've seen him online.
Hugh Hefner.
He is.
I can see that.
Yes.
Steranko has an uncanny ability to make you feel like you're the most important person in the world while you're talking to him. I mean,
you better after you spent 4 hours in his line.
Right, and I was like, I walked up to him, and he starts talking to me, and I show him what I want him to sign, which is a Captain America piece, and he's like, Captain America is my favorite one. Right, and he just goes into this whole thing on Cap, and as I'm walking away, I hear him behind me talking to the next guy. Hulk is my favorite one. You know, he's hamming it up with every single person on there. But his work absolutely is iconic.
Yeah.
One of the best creators ever to hit, and he was innovative in his time, and definitely one of the legends.
Yeah, I know both of us had a chance to meet him. Great guy. Little guy.
Yeah.
He's like 4'10".
So not like the three of us.
No. Just very
no wide
little.
lens needed.
Like silver fox, gray hair, you know, he's got glasses, but they're sunglasses, you know, in the con, you know, on the floor. He's all pimped out. Let's just say that. You know?
He is.
And you know, he talked about X-Men #50. I actually like #51. I think it's the one I like, the white cover.
Yeah.
With the angel on the front. I had that and I sold it. I felt kind of bad, but I never had an autograph by him because it was such a long line.
It wasn't Finger Guns, so
yeah, I got Finger Guns autograph. I'm good. All right, Bob, you got the next one as well.
All right, next one comes from Dark Fluke. He says, I started collecting in the late 70s, and most of my favorites are there. John Byrne pencils inked by Terry Austin on X-Men. Also Mike Zeck on Master of Kung Fu. Inked by the late Gene Day. Most of my pull list are independent comics, and my favorite current writer is Ed Brubaker. Awesome.
Yeah.
And his work on Criminal. Frank Miller is my other choice as a writer for his work on Batman and Daredevil.
This is right up your alley.
It really is.
That would be the iconic, I'm the goddamn Batman.
I mean, if you want to talk about Frank Miller and what he did inside of comics during that time, he took two completely well-known properties, and he turned them on their head and made them into what we know today. I mean, almost every story that is gone forward since he influenced Daredevil and Batman, the people who write it today, I mean, it's all influenced by Frank Miller. So for that, he's one of my favorite creators of all time, for sure.
He certainly has a lot of influence in a lot of different places.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even in horror and, all the movies based on his stuff, 300, all that, 300. I mean, what Zack Snyder and all that, like that was kind of his start in like the big world. So like, then we get Watchmen and we get all the other stuff.
There's a lot of great names on this list. I'm looking at it again. John Byrne,
Ed Brubaker, as well.
Ed Brubaker, Mike Zeck. When I think of Mike Zeck and the famous Punisher covers. Those 5 covers that were, everyone thought there was only 4. When that 5th issue came out, you got an extra one. So it was so exciting. And then he did Secret Wars, didn't he? The cover on that one?
Yeah,
I think so.
Isn't that his as well?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because I mean that's his art style. But the Punisher one stands out because it was his art style, but in a painted way.
I like Zek's Hulk. It's really aggressive and but like has that like 80s 90s comic vibe every time that he does it. It's really
I don't think right now Mike Zeck gets enough play as he should.
I agree because he was at Rose City Comic Con not this year but the 3 years, 2 years, whatever time is before 2020.
Yeah,
right.
The one right before that, 2019, and like he didn't have a line almost the whole weekend, and I was just like, dude,
it's strange. It's strange because I've seen that with other creators as well. It's like, do you not know who that is sitting over there?
Exactly.
Right.
And it's like, that's who that is. And like, oh, I don't know. And then yet there's someone else who just does a cover or whatnot, and no disrespect to them, and they got a line around the room, you know. And some of these legends, I mean, I'm thinking like even like Starlin. How many times do we look over at Starlin? There's nobody over there.
Nobody.
Jim Starlin.
Yeah,
right.
Jim Starlin.
That's crazy.
I mean, you'll always see a line at Claremont. You'll always see a line at a few. Steranko will always have a line. But there are some amazing creators that are legends that you go to these cons and there's nobody in their line. And I'm like, do you not know who this is?
Yeah. Dan Slott was one where I walked right up and I was like, how am I not waiting, at least 15 minutes to get to you? That's insane.
Gold for us, right?
Yeah.
I mean, gold for us. Another one on here that I have to talk about is John Byrne. Back in the 80s, he was definitely one of my favorite creators. His stuff on both X-Men and Fantastic Four. Absolutely love his work. He doesn't do very many cons now. He's another one that's on my bucket list to stand in front of and let him know how much I appreciate his work.
Yeah.
But John Byrne is definitely one of those that's a definite legend in my book.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember another one I saw at a con that nobody even knew who he was Jim Shooter. Nobody even knew. Nobody knew who he was. He didn't have a sign in front of his booth. Okay, and there's no picture, and it was this little con in Salem, and there was nobody there. I mean, literally, people just walked right past him and stuff like that. I'm like, that's Jim Shooter, And then I went and sat down. We talked for hours.
That's cool.
For like 2 straight days, just hours. I did an interview with him.
Yeah.
It's literally like 2 hours long, and it's on the floor. You can see nobody comes up to the table for like 2 straight hours.
It's crazy.
And it was just he was my very first creator interview, and I had him all to myself. Now, another guy that nobody was at his booth was Donnie Cates.
Yeah, I remember
the last con. That one. Yeah. The last con we were at. Now, that was kind of a weird con.
That was weird for sure.
Right.
Imagine Donnie Cates sitting there for 2 days and there's like 10 people.
Right. Well, at that con,
would be nice for him. Actually.
There was what?
He actually did enjoy it because he just got back from Torpedo Con.
Yeah. There was what, 2 or 3 creators at that one. I mean, and
including us, there was 3.
That's right. You're right. Exactly.
There was Howard Chaykin, Donnie Cates, and us.
Right.
Wow.
And so everybody was there for the celebrities.
Yeah.
And it was a con that was put together in what, 2-3 weeks.
Yes.
And so you kind of got to give that one a little slack.
It was put together because Donnie Cates had to cancel on the first time.
I remember.
And that's the whole reason they put it together.
Yeah.
Was to get him back out there for the few people that showed up. I hosted this panel. And there was 8 people in the audience.
Yeah.
Wow. So I mean, good for those 8 people.
Yeah.
Right.
So, anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. He's friends with Donnie Cates. So we talked about you a little bit.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I told him, I said, yeah, Justin told me all your secrets. He kind of looks at me.
He's like, Justin's murdered the next time I see him.
Exactly. I know about crossover. That issue. I know what issue to look out for. He's like, Anyway. I got the next one here. This is from Terra Incognita. It says, my favorite writer is Tom Taylor.
Yeah,
I love the humanity and humor that he brings to the stories. Injustice and Deceased are 2 of my favorite runs of the past few years. I especially love Deceased Unkillables. Taylor knows how to tug on the heartstrings. My favorite artist is David Finch. His detailed and expressive style is great both for covers and page art. His run on Marvel's Messiah Complex and Second Coming resulted in some amazing covers. His page art, for instance, the early Batman run of Tom King's is gorgeous. I had to put this on there because they mentioned Tom Taylor and Deceased.
I love Tom Taylor.
Deceased, one of my favorite books in the last couple of years, by far. I kept every one of them after I sold my books. I have all the Deceased, the different parts. I don't have the... they did some digital ones. I don't know. Did he do the digital ones? Do we know?
I don't. I think he's responsible for writing all of Deceased. Period.
Okay, so even the digital ones that were digital
I
only?
believe so.
Okay,
cool.
But yeah, I love that run. I thought it actually introduced me to some of the other DC characters, like the Superman's son or Batman's son, that I wasn't familiar with. Even though this world is not in, it's not connected to the regular DC universe. I really didn't know much about them until reading Deceased. Of course, it didn't go well for many of them, but it's just great. I love the fact that just like you never knew from every issue who was just going to get slaughtered, and just and then turn into a zombie Superman. Yeah. So I loved it. One of my favorites.
I love Injustice. Like I was, that came out a little before I started really getting back into reading and collecting again, and it was. I think it was 3 or 4 years deep already out of the 5 that he did, and like I binged that whole thing nonstop. And to Tara's credit, like one of the things that stood out to me the most in that was there's a beautiful scene of Black Canary and Green Arrow, and like I believe Black Canary proposes to Green Arrow in that series. And like the way that he wrote it was, I was like, this is one of my favorite scenes ever. I love it.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Tom Taylor's writing is one of those that I came onto late, and I actually had known about him, and I'd read a few different things, but I really didn't hook into him until he did this one shot in Detective Comics, and it was during, I forget who was doing the normal run at the time, but it was just before he did Deceased, and this just one issue, one shot was so heartfelt, and I'm like, this guy is amazing. And that's when I started to really notice him. I want to say there's some things that he's done that's completely unsung. Just before this last run of Suicide Squad, there was a 9-issue run that they had started revamping. He started with number 1. They shouldn't have canceled that. They shouldn't have canceled. It was the most. I mean, I have not been into Suicide Squad for years. This was amazing. Yeah. And I mean, what he's doing right now is absolutely awesome. I love the Nightwing run right now. Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So nice. I love Tom. One of the other people that they mentioned here, though, is David Finch.
Yeah.
Yes,
I love David Finch. I actually have a moment with David Finch that I'll never forget. Is it in
the bathroom?
No, it wasn't in the bathroom.
I don't know.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. It's moments.
So you guys know how
hey, that's David Finch.
You guys know how I do the Kingpin cosplay, right?
Sure.
And so when we were at Rose City Comic Con and I'm walking around, just doing the cosplay, I'm going past Artist Row, and he stands up and he points at me and he waves.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And he wanted to take a picture with me and him as Kingpin. I'm like, that's David freaking Finch, man.
Yeah.
And it was a cool moment. And so I absolutely love his art. His stuff on Moon Knight is probably some of my favorite stuff that he's done.
Yeah.
But I love watching his YouTube videos and his sit and draws. Awesome dude.
Imagine if that happened in the bathroom.
Hey,
you really never.
I probably wouldn't have mentioned it on the show.
I won't name names, but I have a memory with a comic creator in a bathroom. So
oh no!
It does happen.
It does happen.
Was it somebody was drunk at a urinal.
We'll talk later.
There you go.
All right, I got the next one as well. This is from Fight the Good Fight. It says, my favorite creator, hands down, is Stan Lee. I know he didn't create all the characters, but it was the fruits of his vision that provided the needed escapism, entertainment, and motivation for millions over the decades. His life motto, summarized in one word, was Excelsior, Latin word for ever upward, which I did not know that. Even though he is no longer with us, his vision still lives on. You know, I mean, what's there to say?
Yeah,
about
like
Stan
what
Lee?
can we add to that conversation?
Yeah,
That we all know Stan Lee, legend, forever and always.
Yeah,
I saw him from a distance once.
Same.
And there was probably a line of a couple hundred people.
Yeah, I never went through the lines, and I never paid the like $100 for his signature. But I definitely was like one of those lurkers that was like, "That's him. I'm 15 feet away."
Yeah, that's exactly what I did too.
One of my biggest regrets, never actually going up in the line.
Yeah.
But when he was getting on, I mean, it was close to the, his passing. I sent a poster off to Desert Wind Comics because they were the only company that did private signings with Stan Lee, and my poster was in his house when Roy Thomas visited him for the last time, and he never got to sign everything that was there. He ended up passing away 2 days later. So I always I didn't get Stan Lee on my poster, But Stan Lee had it in an uncanny way in his writing of making you feel like you were in on the secret. And when I was a kid, I think he was like a companion while I was reading the comic books, because he made you feel like you were part of the club, you were in on the secret, and he made it that much more exciting.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I would say that's my favorite. Like, I wasn't ever, like, when you go back and read Stan Lee comics, I'm always kind of like, this is actually not that great of writing.
Right.
But his ability to create the character, or like, come up with the stuff that after the king would create the character, so to speak. But the thing that I love is, like, every time that you watch him interact with fans or creators, his love for comics always came through.
Just him being the ambassador of comics. That's what I remember the most, to be honest. It's all his creations that he made. He obviously didn't write as much stuff when I was younger. It was before my time or whatnot. But I've read quite a bit of his stuff that he's done. But just him being the face and the ambassador, I mean, you just look at that and say, that's comic books right there.
True.
Since he's gone, let's just be honest, the only person who really could take that mantle, I think we'd all agree, would probably be Todd McFarlane.
Probably.
I can't think of anyone else who could take up that mantle and
as
deserve
far as,
the respect.
Being a public face, because like Jim Lee could, as far as his work goes, but he's not like the dude that likes to go make public appearances.
Yeah, we need someone that's a champion of comics that is like, I'm excited, let's do this, and that's Excelsior.
Yeah, exactly.
And Todd is someone who could say that out of his mouth and it actually
would mean something.
And deserves it or whatnot. So I mean, when I think of the characters, or the Stan Lee and what he meant, the ambassador, the monument that he is to comics, will we ever have that again? If you want to put, like I said, the name on, I'd have to say Todd McFarlane. I don't think of anyone else that could possibly come close.
I think he would probably be.
And I'd be happy, and they were really good friends with each other.
Oh yeah,
and
like
Todd loved him and stuff.
You've seen those old TV. I forget the name of the show, but like they would have like.
With Raw, drawing.
And like they'd have him drawing live, and the whole time Jim would be like, "This is this character, and this is why he's great." And it's like, Stan.
Yeah, cool. It. Oh man, that's
love
too
that
bad.
stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Justin, guess what, man? You were up with Ed Blackwell.
Right, my Venmo is not.
There you go.
Ed Blackwell. Only 80s kids are going to know this one. Larry Hama. His storytelling kept me buying that book every month. In the 90s, the Todd Father and Jim Lee had me buying everything they did. Then Stephen Platt just showed up and got my attention on that Moon Knight cover, issue number 55, if you have not seen it.
Yes.
And the two that got me into comics in the first place, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, those Fantastic Four books are just incredible, and books I will always treasure.
We've almost hit on all those names, but Larry Hama.
Yeah.
But Larry Hama, G.I. Joe. Am I right? That's G.I. Joe,
yeah,
right? That's
absolutely.
when I think of Larry, I think of G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
G.I. Joe was my favorite cartoon.
Oh yeah.
It was. Transformers was fine. Okay, Thundercats was fine. No, it was G.I. Joe.
Thundercats is S tier for me. I love Thundercats.
I would run. I would get out of school and run home to watch G.I. Joe.
That's awesome.
Every day, and I had all the toys. all the toys. Thank you, Mom, by the way. And, you know, I got to be honest, you know, my parents got divorced when I was, like, really young, and I got double the presents, and I got double the G.I. Joe goodness.
You're like, my collection got way
Yeah, I was like, that is awesome, you know. And, but all the comic books for the G.I. Joes, and when you think about all the stuff that he did in there, it's phenomenal. You know, it just...
Yeah, it's awesome. A huge chunk of history, especially for like 80s and 90s kids, like they said. I mean, yeah, I didn't read G.I. Joe comics, but I definitely had the action figures, and I loved how much they always came with, you know, you could take the boots off, and they had the dog tags and everything,
Little card on the back, cut the card out and stuff.
Yeah, G.I. Joe is legendary for sure.
So I came from the generation of G.I. Joes when they were the big figures.
Yeah, I had the 12.
You know, before it became, you know, the comic book
Those are called Barbies.
The Barbies.
don't
Barbie Joe.
Don't church it up there, Dirt.
Hey, whatever. Mine had the Kung Fu grip. That's all I know. Yeah. But later on, when the whole comic book craze and especially the show, how they revamped it, I mean, I was into it. You know, even being older, and you can't discount what Larry Hama did. You know, during that time and what he's still doing. So that's a great pull.
He just did a variant cover for Rob Liefeld's G.I. Joe.
Did he really?
Yeah, the last issue for the Snake Eyes one.
Oh, that's awesome.
I saw it, and it looked amazing, and I would love to get it. But I don't know if it was an exclusive or an incentive or something like that. But I think it's got Snake Eyes on the front. Nice. And it looks awesome. So
is this part of your new collection that you're going to be collecting?
I don't know, man. I think, you know, I was thinking about that the other day, and I was like, what do I want to collect? What do I want to really go for? I think it's Spawn. I think I want to put together a nice run of all Spawns I have. I got rid of all my Spawns except for number 1, and like pretty much from 290 up, I have those. So literally from number 2 to 289, that's on my list. So
nice. I
wouldn't mind having that whatsoever.
Awesome, man.
So there you go. That's going to be it. Anything else? I mean, he hit on a bunch of people on here.
Stephen Platt, who I'm not familiar with.
Those Moon Knight covers, those last Moon Knight covers they did, they look like... They look like a cross between Jim Lee and Tom McFarlane.
Yeah.
That's what they look like. They're just phenomenal.
Nice.
And then it was over.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, but the one with little bit.
The one isn't that the one with Moon Knight and Spider-Man on it? Yeah, it's awesome. It's an awesome looking book.
Cool.
Of course, he hit Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, all these great Fantastic Four books.
Yeah,
just a ton of good
Jim
stuff.
Lee. Those names that are always going to come up when you're talking about creators.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good
Jim
stuff.
Lee is mine. I love Jim Lee. I love his
buddy?
work. Absolutely. Him, and especially Jim Lee when he's paired with Scott Williamson.
And Alex Sinclair?
No.
You don't like Alex?
I like Alex Sinclair. I just don't think he's the greatest colorist.
You know what?
I'd rather have...
Those guys are a team.
Yeah, maybe. Now they are, but back in the day
They've been a team for a long time.
Sure. Just not my favorite, all right?
Alex is a good dude. I'm going to tell him.
I would love to see Tamara Bonneville come into that fray. You know what I'm saying?
She would kill it.
She would kill it.
Yeah.
Can't break up the Three Amigos.
Hey, you know what? Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, all right, Justin, you got the next one as well.
Yeah. Michael Messer says, my personal favorite comic creator is Jeff Lemire. He is so good at crafting wonderful worlds with interesting characters. They are also unique and different from the usual superhero stories that we get so much of. Donnie Cates is a close second place vote for me.
I don't know about that.
Who's this guy?
Jeff Lemire.
Jeff
you guys
Lemire.
familiar with Jeff Lemire?
I've heard the name.
Okay.
I mean, like, have you watched Sweet Tooth on Netflix? So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I like about Jeff is he's always hustling. That guy's... He's got so much work out there all the time.
I'm so surprised at how much comes out. I always talk
tons
about
of Image titles.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Well, and Dark Horse, right?
And what's the why am I blanking? Valiant.
Valiant.
He's
Valiant
even
work.
done stuff for TKO.
Yes. That's right. I read one of his ones, TKO.
And so I'm always surprised. I mean, I always
good.
look at how much James Tynion is putting out.
Yeah.
But Lemire is like, he's a beast, man. When it comes to writing, he's like got so many fingers in the fire all over the place, and it's good work.
Yeah, he's like Colin Bunn levels of busy, but he actually finishes his series.
Absolutely. That's great.
Sorry, Colin Bunn. Colin's a good guy.
He is a good guy.
He makes good stuff. I know that when I was reviewing comics a few years back, there was a few times we reviewed a series and then we were like, "Oh, this is great. We're stoked." and then it was like, where's issue 2? Where's issue 3? What's happening?
I really enjoyed the Sweet Tooth. It turned me on to go read the book from watching the show.
And it's a good book.
And it is a good book. The problem with me with the TV show was it didn't. It just started. I mean, it was just like there's so much more to be answered, and there's more to be answered at the end of the series than there was at the beginning of the series. Yeah. I was like, this was not an end. This is just the beginning.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, this is gonna go on forever. So, but it was great. So.
He did. I think what's the character from Valiant? It's like Divinity or something like that. It's a very different character who's basically like a god character, and it's like a really interesting different take. I think he did 3 volumes of that, and it was really good. I'm mad that I'm blanking the name.
I know what you're talking about, and I can't think of what it is.
I know it starts with a D, and it's something like that, like Divinity or something. But yeah, it's a really cool series of his, and trying to think of. He does so much. Oh, Black Hammer. We have to mention Black Hammer. That was the one that I was like.
That was the one that the comic shop told me to get when I first started going back to the comic shop. I said, hey, what's there a book here that I should get? He goes, you should get Black Hammer. I'm like, what is this? So I read the first couple of issues. I liked it, but I didn't really follow through with it, to be honest. But the comic shop owner pushed it so much, it was actually his #1 book. Yeah, was Black Hammer, and that launched the whole universe for Dark Horse.
Yeah, and it's that's the thing is he's just it's really low key still. I feel for a lot of people, but I mean, I feel the universe in Black Hammer that he created is probably better than The Boys. Yeah. And a few that's a really cool universe, and it does a really cool marriage of because it takes place kind of in Golden Age, Silver Age type of vibes, but obviously it's a modern comic coming out, so it's really cool seeing that art mixture and a new take on the old Golden Age stuff and all the spinoffs he did. The Sherlock Frankenstein spinoff was amazing. Yeah. I binged that whole thing.
That's awesome.
Nonstop.
You're a binge reader, aren't you?
Yeah, because I don't have a lot of time. Yeah. I don't have a lot of time anymore. Once you start writing comics, you don't read them as much. It sucks. I have a coffee table with stacks of trades that I need to get through. But so I'll usually save up a little pile and just read through them. And then...
So let's talk about his second choice.
Yeah, who is that?
I don't know. You got his tattoo on your arm.
I do. I have his creation.
Tomahawk.
A tomahawk, right?
Tomahawk, right.
Is that in the book? Is that one in the book?
It's on the cover of Crossover now.
Oh, that tattoo? No.
Oh, the tattoo.
There's pictures of tattoos. Is that one in the book?
No, mine was a later edition.
Oh, that sucks.
But the cool story on my tattoo that I like to show off is I asked for a shield design with it. And he designed this, what is called a lantern shield, which has a gauntlet built into it. And the Cyberzerker is a Beastmaster, so he did this lion paw. And then 2 months later, an issue came out when they were doing it in Image Plus, and the rest of this creature, the El Ion, as they called it, made its first appearance. So I had its paw on my arm before it was ever in the comic.
Oh, nice.
Which is pretty cool.
Very cool.
So Justin is friends with Donnie. Donnie is obviously going to be working on the Hulk here as his next book. He's already written a bunch.
Yeah.
So you know Donnie's mind a little bit. Who's he going to kill first?
Is there a dog?
Is there a baby? He's going to punch a baby in the face and kill a dog. Run over a flock of ducks or something like that.
Yeah.
Is he just going to kill Thor? Going to show up? He's just going to kill Thor?
I don't know. I mean, your guess is as good as mine.
I don't know.
I would say
you probably know. You probably know a little bit of stuff.
Not on Marvel shit, man.
No. Well, oh, so you know about crossover then?
I know some stuff. I can't spill that. He'll kill me.
We know Donnie watches.
We'll turn the camera off. He did say that this is his favorite YouTube channel.
Oh, nice.
So it's on the record.
Mine was gone.
He didn't mention yours at all. But so are you excited for him to do the Hulk?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always excited for whatever Donnie's going to do with the thing that Donnie does that I talked to him about it was he did, a lot of people are familiar with the very first dip of his toe into Marvel was with the Battle World stuff during that big event, the Secret Wars stuff.
Secret Wars, Battle World, yeah.
And he did this who's the knockoff Iron Man? I forget his name.
War Machine?
Yes, thank you.
The knockoff.
You know.
That's good. The cat's jumping up here again. Come on, don't stay there.
So and he had regrets about it because he kind of like held back, and so he said that if he ever got his chance to play in the sandbox again, he was going to grab every toy he could and do whatever he wanted. And I think that's suited him well because I mean, as soon as he got Doctor Strange and Thanos, he destroyed the world and brought all this stuff, and like he's really good at like mashing powers together and just making.
Stay down. She wants up here so bad.
She does. And yeah, so he's really good at just making like big changes that are really like every 90s comic reader's dream. Yeah. You know, he grew up reading Venom, as I'm sure everybody's aware, and like so he loves that 90s stuff. So I remember when he was telling me about, I think, the Death of Inhumans, he was and he was like giving me early teasers about Venom a bit, and he was like, "It's just 90s shit, dude. I'm just doing 90s shit." I was like, yes, do it.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to him as he's doing a project with his wife, and I'm looking forward to that. Yes, Megan's awesome.
Yeah, I've seen a couple pages from that. It's fucking good.
Very cool.
Like, if you think Donnie is dark, that's his darkest book.
Oh yeah,
really?
Yeah, get ready for that.
I asked him about Hulk, and I'm like, well, what? When we were at the con together and stuff, he's like, I'm just gonna piss people off. I go, what are you gonna do? I'm just gonna piss off everyone I can. It sounds great, man.
It's funny because he does catch a lot of flack online from people, but at the end of the day, I feel like he's like, well, I'm just gonna do it more then.
Yeah.
Did you by chance? And I know you said you don't read too much right now, but crossover Chip Zdarsky.
I read that issue.
You read that issue.
It's killer. And
it was the best issue from the series. And I told Donnie, I said, Donnie, how's it feel to know that the best issue from your series is the one you did not write? And he's like, I'm fully aware of that.
He's like, yeah, shut up.
I'm fully aware of that. And I'm like, and I asked him, I said, so I go, what would you do if Chip offered you a chance to write one of his books? And Donnie goes, I'd make it a top 10 seller. What a jerk. I mean, what a horrible dig at Chip.
Those are hilarious.
So anyway, but it was a lot of fun. But
Donnie Cates has been doing good stuff for a long time. So aside from crossover and all his Marvel stuff, if anybody doesn't know, go check out like Paybacks is really fun. If you, as like Black Hammer we were talking about, that was another stab at like a original superhero universe that he and Elliot Rahal co-wrote. It was really fun.
Yeah.
Interceptor's great. Lots of good stuff back there.
Yeah, I know.
Buzzkill.
Our buddy has a original ash can of one of the books that Elliot.
I saw. He was like, "No, you don't."
Yeah,
I saw that.
And I was like, "Yeah, dude, I know this guy," and he has it. He got it from Elliot because Elliot's a friend of mine as well. Because I did an exclusive cover for Elliot's Knock 'Em Dead.
Oh, good series. Too.
A great series, and I've been a fan of Elliot for Midnight Vista. Turned me on to Elliot, and then me and Clara Meath. And Elliot did a cover for the Knock 'Em Dead series. So.
Have you read The Doorman?
No, I haven't. Is that a new one or
old one of Elliot with Daniel Kibblesmith? They did it with Heavy Metal. It's a 4-issue miniseries, really good.
Yeah, and I think Elliot just had a kid too. So congratulations, Elliot! And,
congrats.
That's awesome.
It's gonna be like a killer dad. I would love to have Elliot Rahal as my dad. Dude.
I think that's why he couldn't go to a con because he just had a kid, so he had to pass on it. So congratulations, my friend.
To you and Heidi.
There you go. Okay, it looks like Bob, you're up next.
Oh yeah. Let's see here. We got
OK O'Shea.
OK O'Shea, Pacific Northwest. There's so many, but it seems like James Tynion can do no wrong lately. He is a masterful storyteller. But my all-time favorite has to be The Todd Father. Spawn was responsible for getting me back into comics in the early 90s after taking a long break. His overall love for comics is inspiring.
That sounds about right. A lot of like when people talk about Todd, they're like, "Yeah, I was out of comics, and then Image Comics spawned #1. Everybody rushed in and got back in."
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think Image Comics, when it came out at the time, brought a lot of people into comics that weren't into it at the time.
I think it's doing it again. I think with his new branching out, I mean, he's doing all the new Spawn titles. I think that's bringing more people back into the Spawn universe and more people just back into comics in general.
Hey Todd, hit me up.
Yeah, hey Todd, hit me up, buddy. I'd love to hang out with you again. And but really, I mean, just with it's been so long since he's tackled some other stuff. We all know his toy line. Now he does stuff for DC and all this stuff for them. I think they just announced something with a TV thing that he's doing right now.
A weird kind of thing.
I'm still waiting for the new Spawn movie.
Yeah, we're all been waiting.
Yeah,
for it. I don't remember seeing the original Spawn movie. I loved it. I thought it was great. Back in the day, I thought it looked awesome. Now it's a little dated. Okay, but back in the day, I thought it looked pretty good.
Yeah,
I watched that movie a lot.
Yeah,
as a
me
kid,
too.
And revisiting now, it doesn't necessarily hold up, but like it's the nostalgia.
John Leguizamo as the clown. Give me a break. He's awesome.
He was amazing. He was amazing.
That's why when the clown cover came up, I was like, you got to love the clown because John Leguizamo made that character
very
iconic.
Cool.
But as much as I've watched the movie, I think I've watched the HBO series probably more than anything.
God, that's so dark.
Oh, it's so amazing.
I remember trying to find that, like because it was only on HBO, and I saw an episode here and there, and just because I didn't have HBO, and I don't know.
It's on there now.
Yeah, I finally got to watch the whole series when I got a little bit older, and I just sat there and binge watched it.
Yeah,
it was so cool
so good.
Seeing that stuff.
Watched it many times.
Like we said before, Todd, he's the next one. He's the next. I mean, he's got a nickname, the Todd Father. Okay, he's the next really ambassador to take the mantle from Stan Lee. And here's the thing, and I don't like thinking about this, but who takes the mantle from Todd? Who is that person with that voice? That would take up after Todd, if that is the case. Todd just I'm done. I'm retired. I'm going away, and
I think
going back to Canada or whatever. And who's that next voice to be the ambassador?
I don't know if it's too big of a skip generation-wise, but I mean Donnie's up there. I would say
Donnie's up there
because he's so he's interactive with the fans a lot.
Sure.
So doing that, he's a good ambassador. Yeah. He goes to a lot of signings. He goes to a lot of this. He has fun at his panels where he holds up the Thor hammer and all that kind of he's a lot of fun in that way. I think he could do it.
I think another one beyond Donnie Cates is James Tynion. He does a lot with his newsletter going out to everybody. He does a lot of cons, same type of thing.
I love he's doing the Razor Blades magazine now too.
Right?
That horror kind of anthology.
So good, so good. And he's got one of those with many, pans in the fire. But at the same time, his social media and what he does with the fans, I think, is one of those things that you look for as far as an ambassador like that.
Yeah. Very
well liked, and he's one that's pushing comics to the edge right now, and I think he has to be one of those that you have to consider.
Let me ask you a question about Donnie. Do you think that's something he would want? Do you think that's
that's the part that is a good question, and as much as I am friends with Donnie, it's not like we hang out every day, so don't quote me on stuff.
Yeah.
I think ultimately, I think he would, as long as it didn't interfere with his ability to do the part of the job that he loves. If he ended up becoming
killing dogs and hitting babies.
Killing the dogs.
This is their ambassador. He's the dog killing, baby hitting.
At least the one dog came back as the ghost, and it's everybody's favorite character now. But I think if he had to become a big admin guy and just do that, probably not. At least not until he's older. I think he has a lot more stories in him that he wants to tell. So as long as he could keep writing books, I think he'd be okay with it.
Interesting. All right.
I mean, he kind of does all that stuff on his own anyway. Like I was saying, he's interactive with a lot of people. But James Tynion, I don't want to skip O'Shea's James Tynion drop because he's doing great stuff too.
Awesome
all the Batman stuff. He's got the new spinoff of his Something is Killing the Children. I forget the name of the spinoff.
House of Slaughter.
Thank you, because buy that book because my buddy is the artist on it. It's
cool.
Killer. Chris Sheehan.
Awesome.
They're an amazing artist.
The cat really wants up here. Tynion's work is it's nonstop, and I think one of my favorite right now is the House one.
House on the Lake.
The House on the Lake, but I think it's taking a hiatus.
Yeah.
So
it's got a lot of fires going right now.
Well, and I think the hiatus is also part of the whole Substack thing. He's
not a fan of that Substack thing.
I don't think it's going to last, but
we'll see.
He got all angry and wouldn't even show up for the show we did on it.
I wasn't that butthurt.
I'm not doing that show. I had to ask Damien to do it for me.
Substack. No, I mean, you have to pay basically a streaming service price for each creator. That just bothers the heck out of me.
Yeah, those creators.
Those
Yeah.
All right, we're just going to go to the next one. I have the next one here from James Annabelle. It says, I came from watching Batman in 1966 and Super Friends on TV, then reading the Batman and Detective comics of the day. Then Dark Knight happened. I felt like I graduated from being a young adult who liked kids' comics and superheroes to being an adult when I read Frank Miller for the first time.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I still have my original copy of that trade paperback of that book. Nice. And it is beat the hell.
I wish I had my original. I mean, I used to pretty much carry it rolled up in my back pocket.
That's cool.
Just about everywhere I went. Because it was, like, at the time, my Bible.
Yeah.
I mean, it revamped the Batman mythos to a level that was just beyond anything that I'd ever experienced in the day. And James Annabelle, same with me. Batman 66 is how I probably got into comic book heroes. And, you know, my view of Batman was probably mostly that until I got to that point. I mean, of course, I did read some Batman comics, but they were kind of campy.
Oh, yeah.
When this came out, that was like, this is a comic book.
Yeah.
And I mean, I read it multiple times, and anybody that came to me and said, you know, they wanted to get into comics, this was the book that I handed to them and said, read this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, back in the day, my copy was shredded.
Nice.
It's awesome. It's just an awesome thing. And even the, I'll say this, they translated it into that 2-part animated thing. Mm-hmm. That was good as well.
Yeah,
I enjoyed watching that. I thought they did a really good job on that, and just capturing the whole mood of the book. They did awesome. And I remember just looking at that book and being like, "What is this?" It's like, what is he doing to her, and why are they killing each other? And it was just devastating, and just the line artwork and everything. I was like, it looks different, it feels different, and this is not the Batman or Superman I've ever been used to. And it just like it stayed in my collection. I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And it's just, if this was how it was on a monthly basis, give me a break, man.
Yeah.
But
it
was
just a prolific run.
It was amazing, you know, and just how and it's perfect story how it ended. You know, how it all came to a conclusion and everything, you know, and just from the very beginning to the very end, it was perfect.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't change a thing about it.
No.
So, amazing book. Justin, you got the last one from David.
David Posner. I'm an 80s Marvel kid, so my favorites were always Chris Claremont, John Byrne, Mark Sylvestre, Tom DeFalco, to name a few. Of course, I was a huge fan of Todd when I saw what he did on The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah. His work on the Grey Hulk. That was
it was the weirdest looking Hulk.
It was the weirdest looking Hulk, but it was so good.
I loved it. You know, I put that in there because Chris Claremont, and that's one of the names I wanted to put in there. He's a legend. I've talked about him many times. I've had the great opportunity to meet him, host his panel. Interesting guy to say the least. But what he did will never be duplicated. For the 20 some odd years of being on one title, you know, for month after month or bi-weekly, whatever it was at the time, for doing the X-Men and writing these story plots that last years, not just week to week, but literally you have to have read issue like 110 to understand what's going on in 219.
Yeah.
And it's just phenomenal. And he did that all on purpose.
Yeah, Claremont was definitely what I would consider like a saga writer. Like, instead of writing a chapter or an issue or a few issues or something, he wrote a saga, like a tale for you to follow along for a long time. So it would suck as like an individual collector back in the day when it was coming out, I would imagine, but as like somebody like now, when you can pick up the whole thing in one, that's like an epic tale that you're taking every time. It is.
I would say though that I think back in the day, the long form storytelling coming out month by month actually worked better. When I've gone back and reread a lot of the Claremont stuff, especially when you get into the iconic storylines like the Dark Phoenix saga and stuff like that, I think the anticipation of the next story, the next piece of that story coming out, really lent to the build-up back then, and it made it so much more epic. When I go back and read it now, I'm like, how do you capture that when it's just this, you know, and don't get me wrong, it's still good, but the build-up was part of the experience.
The build-up is a page away. Yeah,
absolutely. Oh, good stuff.
I miss it. They still have them on the payroll. They keep him there just because they want that legacy, and every now and then he gets to put out a book, you know, a little one shot here and there, but It's awesome. You know, that's another. I had that whole series just about his whole run, missing just a handful of books. I wouldn't mind putting that one back together again.
Yeah.
But you know, Days of Future Past, my favorite story.
Yeah, mine too.
The X-Men. Nice. That was nice because it wasn't as long as the other one.
Yeah.
Just a couple issues. I actually have a thick novel of the Days of Future Past with the 2 X-Men issues, then some loose tie-ins that just have references to it. They're not essential at all, but it's literally like a thick book. And it's got like 10 other issues that have references to the Days of Future Past. So
yeah,
that's pretty cool. But yeah, Chris Claremont, I had to put that in there.
Another one that he mentions on here is Mark Sylvestre. I know we already talked about John Byrne. Sylvestre back in the day, his work on X-Men and Wolverine was some of my favorite stuff. I loved his covers. I loved the line work that he did. But there was one issue, I can't remember the number of the issue of Wolverine. I have it up on my wall at home. But it was a very big inspiration to me back in the day, and it's a simple cover. It's just the Wolverine claw coming up out of the ground, right? And for me, I was going through a very dark time, and that represented one thing to me: don't stay down, get back up. And I relayed that story to Mark Sylvestre when I met him, and he signed that issue he says to Bob, never stay down, Mark Sylvestre. So love that guy.
Now, see, I have a problem with him.
Why?
He basically called me ugly.
That's true.
You were there.
I was there.
You were there.
He did.
He basically called me ugly.
But the context, right?
No. I'm there.
I gotta hear this.
Okay. Mark Sylvestre is sitting next to Todd McFarlane. Okay, at the signing event here in Vancouver, and so I had talked to Todd earlier that day. I said, hey, the whole story about his wife being my teacher in high school and everything. And so I was going to have Todd sign my yearbook, okay, from that year.
I remember.
And so I go and Todd signs the yearbook, and he goes, hey, is Wanda in here? I go, yeah, I actually had a little tab on it. So he flipped to Wanda, okay, and he saw a picture of his wife back in the 92 or 3 or whatever it was. And he goes, hey, Mark, come over here. So Mark comes over here, and he goes, oh, man, he goes, oh, Wanda looks great back then and all that stuff. And then Mark goes, hey, is there a picture of you in here? I said, yes. And I actually had that marked, so I flipped the picture of me. And he goes, man, Wanda aged a lot better than you did. I go, thanks, man. What a horrible thing to say to a fan in line.
That's kind of fucked up. But it's great.
So was he complimenting his friend's wife, or was he putting you down? I mean,
a little bit of both, I guess. Yeah. Like, I don't want you signing my book, you jerk. But Todd got a kick out of it as well.
Yeah, he did.
But so thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. I don't even remember what he signed for me. So anyway, I think he signed it before that. He signed it before that because Todd was at the end. So Mark signed my book before that, and then he came over and made fun of me. So
just imagine you like throwing the book out. I don't want it anymore.
Right.
You're ugly.
Robert Kirkman was at the other end of the table too. That would have been funny having him in there as well. So many great creators. I mean, you can't go wrong. So this is a fun topic. If we missed any, let us know in the comments down below. But that's it, and I want to say thank you, Black Box Comics, for sponsoring this topic as they do every week. You can go to their website and the code Bueller10, you save 10%. But we're going to move on to our next thing. All right, let's go ahead and move to our final 5, brought to you by Bird City Comics. I said before, go to their website and your code Bueller, save 10%. Bob?
Yeah.
Let's see your final 5, buddy.
Sure thing. I brought just a bunch of random stuff. I just grabbed a couple of covers that looked really good to me. This is from that Suicide Squad run with Tom Taylor. That's issue number 2.
Nice.
Really like that cover.
Love that pop art.
Yeah. This, you guys know I didn't like the Doctor Doom series, but I do love this cover on issue number 4. Here is Supergirl number 37. I forget who the artist is. I think it's Art Germ.
Art Germ, maybe? Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
and then here's an issue of Lone Wolf and Cub number 2.
Oh, you talked about that one before.
I do. I've talked about it many times. And then from ADBA Upshot, Year Zero, I really love that cover. Kind of like an African background, and really awesome. There's my final 5.
Final 5. All right, I got my final 5. Justin, I need you to help me again.
$5 again. But.
All right, here we go. Actually, I'll tell you this: these books I got for 50 cents a piece, so it's not worth me giving you $5. But I got some nice ones. That's the Deceased number 1. That's one of the movie
Like
variants.
they changed it to the deceasening. That's
right. This is Whalesville X.
Ooh,
I finally got that.
I have that one, but I haven't read it.
I haven't read it, but I got it for 50 cents.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
so I was happy about that.
Book too.
It is.
There's a couple of stories in there, though.
For that one. Batman Urban Legends #1. Picked that one up. Just like the cover, so I got that one, 50 cents. Decorum #7. And Lazarus Risen. I don't know what this is. It's a thicker book. And this is issue #5. But it's 50 cents, so it was in the package, so I bought it.
Nice.
So there you go. That's my final five. We can just leave those up there.
Cool.
And brought to you by Bread City Comics. But yeah, I bought a bunch of books just last week for 50 cents, 40 cents a piece. Some grab bags or whatnot. So always love those.
Yes,
I'm peeking in. As you can see, there's a couple thick books.
Yeah.
The grab bags, they're in plastic bags, clear bags, so you can see.
Oh, how
you can
thick
see
it
the
is.
thick books and stuff like that. So,
Right.
What's that? Oh,
Like, that one's a
Whalesville?
value.
There's all those $10 books I can get for 50 cents.
There you go. Don't buy it. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
I remember that when DC was doing those thicker ones.
Yeah.
I remember they used to put those in there, and I'd find grab bags that have like 6 or 7 of those in there. They're like this thick
All $10 books.
for like $4.99 for a grab bag.
Nice.
Yeah, she's eating a plastic tree.
All right.
She's not the smartest cat in the world, but you know what? She knows what she's doing.
At least we know she likes the ficus.
Yeah. Who doesn't like the ficus?
Right.
She's on a plant diet.
Right.
She's trying to lose some weight.
Okay.
Maybe we should all do the same thing.
We should.
There you go. All right, so let's go ahead and go to our next segment. This is our Was It Good segment. This is brought to you by Comics on Coffee. Go to their website, buy some coffee. Great coffee, by the way. 15% under the code Bueller. Bob, let me go ahead and ask you first. I'll take those. Hand those ones to me. Which one is up there front?
One of mine.
Okay, which one is it?
It is the...
Oh, no, which one are you reading there?
Oh,
Let me have the ones that you're reading, buddy.
So the first one is...
This one right here? Okay, Silver Coin, #6. And this is the one with Arcade. Bob.
Yes.
You could reach the whole time.
Yeah.
Right?
Was it good?
It was really good, and you have to understand, I mean, with Silver Coin, it's a hit or miss thing. I was really excited when the series first came out, and just to be honest, it's been kind of up and down. Not every story is great. You know, there's been some stuff from creators that I was excited to see that didn't really pan out. This particular issue is really cool. It's about a kid who goes to an arcade, and there's a fighting game that has kind of macabre characters. Like you got, you know, Jason from Friday the 13th, Spawn, and you know, and he goes up against this guy that kicks his butt all the time. And after he runs out of quarters, even the guy that runs the arcade kicks him out. Like he's a loser completely.
Yeah, you like arcade games, right?
I love arcade games.
Like Street Fighter?
Like Street Fighter,
You
exactly.
like that a lot?
I did. I used to play in tournaments.
Yeah, man, I wish they made some variants with Street Fighter.
You know what? Shut up. Right? Shut up right now, because that sucked.
Okay, nobody knows what we're talking about.
You know, okay, referencing this week, there was some Street Fighter variants that came out, and they were gone in 2 minutes. And I was so mad because I was
Texas
like...
me in all capital letters.
It took me 30 seconds to hit the buy button, and it said sold out. So,
Sorry,
very upset about that, because those were cool covers by Delato. Anyway, in this particular issue, the kid finds, actually steals money out of a fountain because he wants to play a video game. And one of the coins happens to be the silver coin. And he puts it in the game, and he becomes like the champion. He kills everybody. And then at the end of the day, when the place closes down, he actually becomes this like macabre, like slasher character from inside of it, and it goes completely, it goes off the rails. Great story. I loved the artwork inside of it. It's very visceral, and probably one of the better issues of Silver Coin to come out for a while.
Nice.
Very cool.
What else you got for me?
This one here.
All right. A New Byrne by Chip Zdarsky.
Who's that?
Right.
Bob. Yes, I can reach it.
That's awesome.
Was it good?
Was it good?
Hey, there you go.
This is actually my out of all the books that I read, this is my pick of the week. You know me, I love Chip Zdarsky's writing, and this right here was right up my alley. It's a kind of New York mob story, 5 families, all that type of stuff. And New Byrne is a detective. He used to be part of the police force. Now he's a private eye, but a little bit different. He's actually been hired by the 5 families. When anything goes wrong, he comes in and figures everything out for them, and he's got carte blanche. I mean, he is like #1 untouchable. He said, I'll do this for you as long as nobody touches me. Phenomenal story. Absolutely loved it. I can't wait for the next issue. It really laid the groundwork for who New Byrne is, and this is an amazing story. So I loved it. I loved every freaking page of it. I love Phillips, who works with Brubaker. I can't think of his first name. Sean Phillips. This is actually drawn by his son. I'm not so much of a fan. It is kind of visceral. It does kind of have that same feel, but I'd say his line work isn't as clean as his dad's. But still, it worked for this particular book. I dug it.
Awesome. What else you got for me? Oh. Okay, yeah, I heard about this one before. This one is Firepower number 17.
Yes.
Hey, Bob.
Yep. Was it good?
They're working together.
Yes. This was good, and here's the thing. I don't know if I said it last month or not, but I've been waiting for certain things to happen inside of Firepower that just haven't manifested yet. I loved the original first graphic novel that started the whole series. And then ever since then, it's kind of been here inside of modern times America. And, there's this guy that has this basically Shaolin firepower that's mystical, and I don't know. I mean, the story has been good. The action has been good. I love Sam Nee's artwork inside of it. But I've been waiting for the deep dive mystical kung fu stuff to happen. And last issue, we got the reveal of a character that had a power that could possibly rival the firepower, and get into some of that stuff. And so I'm like hopeful. And this issue killed it. I mean, everything I was hoping for would happen inside of this. We have somebody that not only can keep up or match the firepower, but it's probably a huge rival. I mean, he kicks the heck out of him, and it's like
is it ice power?
No, it's not ice power.
It's water power.
Water power.
The guy is serpent
power?
based. No, it's serpent based, and it's like poison and snakes. He can control people and all this other stuff. But bottom line is that he really. I said he kicked the heck out of him. He didn't. He didn't even fight him. He's like, you're not even worth my time. Come back when you're ready.
Nice.
Right. And so we're gonna get into some stuff that I've been waiting for. So. It panned out big time.
So you read some nice books this week.
I did. I read some great books this week.
That's good to know. That's awesome. Well, here's my 2 that I read.
All right.
I'll let you do the honors there.
All right. So the first one up we have from AWA Upshot, the first issue of Knighted. And Bueller.
Yes, Bob?
I got to ask you a question.
Okay.
Was it good?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah. You'd like this book.
Would I?
Yeah, because actually the main character's name is Bob.
Really?
Yeah, and it's called The Rise of Bob.
The Rise.
That's the plot line. The plot line is The Rise of Bob, and it's just
Bob's
basically
like, it's my time.
It's basically about this loser dude.
Wait a second.
Yeah, well, it's the rise. So you have to be on the bottom to rise.
Yeah.
You don't rise.
Sylvestre called him ugly.
Exactly. Exactly. So there's this like superhero that kind of dies, and he falls into the place to where he kind of takes the place of this guy. It's kind of a cross between Batman, Superman, a little bit of Venom, the Carnage type thing with the suit or whatnot, and like there's like almost like a bat cave. It seems like
so like Spawn.
Yeah, kind of. And but it's a fun book. I thought it was pretty good. The artwork is really nice. There's this really interesting scene to where it's in the very beginning, and it's right where it says The Rise of Bob. And Bob is just having a bad night or whatnot. And literally he's in the alleyway, and in the building behind him, there's 4 windows all lit up. And in every window, it's 4 women taking their shirt off. All at the same time in different rooms in the building. And only those 4 rooms are lit up.
What?
I'm like, what a little wink and nod that, that's what's going on in the rooms all the time. Women taking their shirt off. But all 4 rooms are exactly the same. Like a blonde, a redhead, a brunette, I was like, oh, okay. But no, it was a fun book. I enjoyed it, so I'll definitely stick on this one. And there was a really cool variant. There was an homage to The Dark Knight. I don't know where to get that one, but I would like to get that one as well. So, very cool book.
All right, now the next one that you have is by Image Comics. It's the Me You Love in the Dark, issue number 4.
Yep.
And Bueller,
yes. Was
it good?
We got one more to go. The first 3 issues were all happy books. She fell in love with the ghost. They had ghost sex. I don't know what that's like, but apparently they enjoyed it enough to still be in a relationship. This kind of
don't knock it until you try it.
Exactly. Okay. But this fast forwards, a few months have gone by. Nobody's heard from her. She doesn't leave the house. The ghost doesn't want her to leave the house. People are starting to get worried about her, like her agent or whatnot finally comes to visit, and it kind of goes south. And you don't really see what happens at the end. But basically, after their whole relationship with the ghost doesn't want her to leave. She's kind of prisoner there now, and that's what they're dealing with in this book.
That sounds really cool. Like that's a good metaphor for like anything, like addiction or like overworking yourself. You know, like staying in and being obsessed with one thing. You know, I like that. That sounds cool.
It's a pretty good. I like the series, the whole thing. You know, I was anticipating some kind of conflict coming up because there really hasn't been any conflict at all for the first 3 issues, and this one definitely hits that quite a bit. You can hear the fear that she has and the disdain. She doesn't know what to do. You know, this is the first time for her being in a ghost relationship. She doesn't know how it works. She's the one breaking the rules.
Yeah.
If you're in a ghost relationship, you listen to the ghost. Okay, Patrick Swayze. Right. I mean, you listen to the ghost. You know, come on, Whoopi. You know, I mean, it's all good, right?
As he goes to the only reference there is for ghost relationships. I love it.
There you go. That's all I got for you. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. The last issue should be pretty good as well. Conclusion, we'll find out what happens to the other characters that were involved in this one. But really, it's just this story has been a 2-person story. It's been her and the ghost in the house for the first 4 issues, and a little bit of like her agent, like a page here and there. You were introduced to the real estate agent in the very beginning, first issue, but really it's just been her and the ghost.
Nice.
That's it. So it's kind of it's in pretty good. It's easy read.
Two character books are pretty cool, you know.
Yeah, there you go.
Finger Guns, if you don't know, has 2 main characters, and that's mostly what we.
But there's other people in Finger Guns.
True. Yeah,
but then here, there's literally just those 2 characters.
Okay.
I mean, they're in the house the whole time.
Wow.
And it's just them. And you don't even see the ghost.
Oh,
so you just see her, and you see like the darkness behind her, which represents the ghost.
I like that.
So you don't even know, 4 issues in, you don't even know what the ghost looks like.
I love claustrophobic. Like, it's not really like but you know, like really focused in like one space. Like one of those like early ideas I had for a story that I wanted to do was I was like, what can I tell? Like, what's the coolest, biggest story I can tell confined to one room? So like, I like shit like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think you like it, Scotty Young.
He's great.
The team that did Middle West is the team that's doing this book.
Oh, okay. I love Middle West.
There you go.
Great.
That's all I have as far as books that I read this week. The Thing didn't come out. It's got pushed back a week. I was going to read that one. But let's talk about the book that you recently read.
Yeah.
It was Scud, if I'm not mistaken. So, was it good?
Yeah, so I haven't finished it. I'll admit that because it's a thick book like this. Yeah. But I have started it, and it's really good so far. It's really fun. It's an older book. It's by Rob Schraub, who is like one of Dan Harmon's buddies. Mm-hmm. You know, co-creator of Rick and Morty and creator of Community, all that. And it's about a world where like there's these disposable robot assassins that you can buy out of a vending machine, and you just say, "Go kill Bob." And then once he kills Bob,
I like how
it
you went there
self-destructs.
The guy with the bullseye on his shirt.
Yeah,
the rise of Bob, right?
The fall of Bob.
So, and then they self-destruct upon completion of their task. And this particular unit that we follow sees on the back, there's a tag that's like, this unit will self-destruct upon completion of its task or whatever. And so it becomes self-aware of what its fate is if it completes its task. And Scud actually like puts the guy in a coma instead, and then is like paying a doctor to like keep him on lifeline and like out of the way so that he can technically, that guy's not dead, so he doesn't have to self-destruct. And then now he becomes like a freelance assassin and goes and does like his own jobs and like tries to make money and stuff.
Yeah, I think I'm familiar with this character a little bit. Like, I've seen him around. I think they actually have done video games on this character or stuff like that.
Oh, really? That would be interesting.
I don't know for sure. I might be wrong, but I thought, I don't know.
But it's really interesting. I like the art style in it. It's really like It's very exaggerated and cartoony. Lots of like.
Did they make a cartoon of this?
I have no idea.
I think they did too. I might just making stuff up.
You're like there's an MCU for it.
There might be. I swear, I'm familiar with this character.
Somebody in the comments will know.
And there's like a big bullseye behind him. I'm picturing this character with a big bullseye behind him.
I think that's on the cover, actually.
Yeah, not that guy. You got a bullseye on your head and your chest, man. Easy pickings.
But yeah, it's a good one. It's worth a pick.
So it was good.
Yeah, I like it.
Well, there you go. Scud. Big, huge book.
Yeah,
there you go.
It's older, so it's all collected, and it's a compendium that I got from my cousin.
Is that Dark Horse?
I think so. No, Image.
Okay, all right. I'm trying. Next week, there's a bunch of books coming out. Hopefully, they come out. I'll just list a few that I've seen. Venom, Stillwater's coming out. The Thing, Chicken Devil #2. Looking forward to that one. Joker #9. There's one called Oswald Body #1. Canto #4. Out #2. Any of those spark your interest? Probably Canto.
Definitely Canto, Stillwater, and The Thing are definitely highlights for next week.
And what about Venom? Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah.
It's who's taking over? Is it Ron or somebody else?
It's Ron V. And it's the guy who did the Mortal Hulk.
Al Ewing.
Al Ewing. That's right.
Am I right? I
think
that's a killer team right there.
So I mean, whenever a new iteration of anything comes out, I'm always, I'll just wait till I see it. And I mean, I love both those creators, so we'll see what happens. Like even with having Donnie Cates come on the Hulk, it's like I was like, until I heard what he said at the con, and then I was all in.
Sure.
And so we'll see.
I got a copy of Venom 1 right now.
Do you? Yeah. Was it good?
I haven't read it yet. It showed up today.
Okay.
So and Thing 1 as well. I'll let you know. Anyway, that's our Was It Good segment brought to you by Comics on Coffee. Go to their website, order some coffee. You can do a subscription service with them, or you can just order bags of coffee and their coffee mugs, which I love as well. And the code Bueller, you save 15%. Let's go ahead and get to our random thoughts. Our random thoughts are brought to you by our Patreons. Thank you. And also Scout Comics as well, because we don't have our mystery box thing anymore because nobody sends us any mystery boxes. They're afraid of us, and so they don't send them anymore. And so we're putting Scout Comics on there as well. But our random thoughts, we're going to give it to Justin because Justin is here. He's local here in Oregon, and we shared a couple of his books that he recently worked on. Finger Guns being the one you're probably most familiar with. But you've got a Kickstarter campaign going on right now, and it's called The Only Have Eyes for You.
Yeah.
And this is dedicated to Bob, which I did not know. And Bob didn't know, but
I didn't know what.
But do me a favor, tell me about your new Kickstarter. Actually, tell them about your Kickstarter.
I will tell you all about it. So, I Only Have Eyes for You is my take on superheroes. I write a lot smaller usually, and I like it like two characters in Finger Guns, and like I like emotional stuff. And normally, like obviously you can get emotional impact with superheroes, but normally I feel like it's more bombastic, more about the action and stuff. And I wanted to kind of I was like, what could I do if I put like kind of my take on it, my spin. And so like one of my favorite things to do is to give my characters something amazing, or kind of give them everything and then take it away in some way. And so the twist that I've got is our main character, his name's Lincoln, Link for short, Little, because you got to have the alliteration. And he has every superpower imaginable, but they only work in service of defeating one particular villain. So if he's trying to do anything day to day, or trying to fight a different villain, or trying to just have fun with his powers for no reason, they don't work. So he doesn't know that like it doesn't come with an owner's manual. And so from the time he's a kid, things happen to him that are unexplainable, as far as like, I had this power and I did all this damage, but I don't know why or how or what, and he tries to do it again, it doesn't work. So we follow his journey as he learns who this villain is and more about his destiny and how to control his powers. And there's a fun, mysterious figure that shows up every time his powers activate that we don't know anything about, other than he calls it the Passenger. And cool. It's going to be a lot of fun. The art on it, Jimmy Kutsai is doing the art, and he's just killing it. It's really, really cool.
So tell me a little bit about the team on this. You got artists, your inker, your letter. Tell me a little bit about them.
Yeah, so like I said, artist is Jimmy Kutzai. He just had a Kickstarter project called Gooseberry. It has like a much longer name, like the Nottingham something, but it's one of those long ones that I can't remember right now. But but Jimmy is really, he's a newer artist. He doesn't have any real published work, but he's done some covers for some anthologies that were pretty big on Kickstarter and stuff. So he's getting there, and his newer stuff that he's doing is just so dynamic.
Nice.
Like, I think you'd really dig it.
I've looked at a few of the I've actually had a chance to kind of take a peek at the script a little bit and see some of the artwork. I thought it looked really good. I really enjoyed it. I enjoy all your work in general. I've enjoyed what I've read. Finger Guns was actually one of my favorite books and stuff. And then the Silent Night.
You have good taste.
Yeah, well, the Silent Night I read. The Silent Night book I read like within a minute. It was so easy to read.
Yeah,
I love it.
Because it's silent.
I was like, yeah, Justin's cheating on this one. The writer, and there's no words. Come on, man.
There was a whole script, including dialogue and everything, but I actually took the dialogue out and kept it silent, not only because I had that title and it worked, but it actually, I felt like the story in it was served better by being silent, because it lets you kind of have your own interpretation of everything.
I remember we sat around the table at the con looking at it like, there's no words in this.
It's in the title, man. It's a silent one.
But anyway, back to the Only Have Eyes for Bob, or for you, sorry about that. You also got your colorist and your letterer. Tell me about them.
So our colorist is Alex Santolo, who's from Spain, and so like he has some credits of his own books that he's done, some cool kids books and things like that, but pretty unknown. But his stuff with Jimmy, like the pairing of those two, it's a really cool pairing. Like Jimmy, when he saw it, was like, I want this guy, because it's like we're gonna hit it off. And then we've got Tobin Rassicot on letters, who's kind of been everywhere in like in that Kickstarter lower end, and he's also writing his own stuff. He has a Kickstarter going. I think it's called Crown and Anchor Volume 2. So yeah, lots of cool people working on the book.
Very cool. And this is a graphic novel.
Yeah,
this is a 100+ page graphic novel. This just isn't like one issue of many. This is the whole storyline, correct?
Yeah, we're shooting big for getting the whole thing done. It just didn't seem like a story that I wanted to do one issue at a time through Kickstarter over 5 years or however long it would take me to do all that. So it's a book that I have plans for 3 volumes and at least one spinoff. Like, it's the first story I've ever done that just like clicked in my head, and I was like, I have a saga ready to tell. And so we're taking a big swing and doing the full 100 pages, 100 plus. It's 106 as of right now, just story. There'll be fun extras and things like that.
Already all written. You're just waiting for the artwork and stuff.
Yeah, right? I spent this whole summer kind of like I started right after July 4th.
Yeah.
Like the 5th or 6th, and I sat down and started writing it, and it took me 2 or 3 months.
Now, did you dream this?
No. I did dream Finger Guns, I know, but no, this one was, like I said, I was kind of just, it was like a late night thing, sitting back, smoking a joint, and kind of just going,
there you go.
What?
He's from Oregon. I said it earlier.
It's legal.
It's more than legal, apparently. That sounds awesome, man. Now, when this video airs, you'll be sitting about 25 days left on the Kickstarter campaign.
Yeah.
It's a pretty lofty goal that you have on there, but I mean, this you're making a graphic novel. This is not a cheap thing to do.
The only reason that it's $20,000 is our goal, and I'm very scared of that number. It was a hard one to make that decision, but when you do the math, the cost of making a 100-page graphic novel is more than what I'm asking for, to be honest. Me and Jimmy are taking big pay cuts to make this thing work, and even still, we had to go $20,000 with those huge pay cuts. So it's just making a huge full-length thing is expensive, unfortunately. So that's why we need your help and and all that stuff. But
awesome, man. Well, I want to let you guys know the link is down below for the Kickstarter campaign for Justin. I've been a supporter of his ever since I met him.
Which I appreciate.
Yeah, I got the. I mentioned the comic shop. Actually, I think we talked.
My first Portland signing, which was at Cosmic Monkey.
Yeah.
I remember you came in, and I was like, "Who's this big guy?"
Yeah, exactly. I was the first. I was there before you were there. I was like just hanging out. I was like, "Oh, there he is," and stuff like that. But I've enjoyed all your work. I'm excited for this. Justin's actually shared with me many different ideas he's had. Very creative talent. And there's some stuff you shared with me before that you've pitched and stuff like that. So I mean, there's a bunch of different stories in this guy's brain all the time, and I'm excited to see this one come to light and stuff like that.
This one, it's one of the books, like, you know, I love all my ideas and stuff, but this one, like I said, like when it hit, it was like electric. It was like, I want to tell this story. That's why I decided to do it on my own with Kickstarter. I wasn't going to wait for a publisher to give me permission. I did try talking to a couple, and like when you say original superheroes, most publishers are no, we're not.
Right.
So I, you know, as much as you try to be like, but Black Hammer's great, you know, but that's why we're doing it on our own, and I'm super excited for this one. It's wild.
Cool, man.
You're gonna see some stuff that I don't think people expect, because when I say every power imaginable, I mean it.
Yeah.
Like every power imaginable under the sun.
Very cool.
So
awesome.
I wanted to really push that and like give a good example of that. So there's some stuff that you'll see that's pretty cool.
Well, I'm definitely going to back it, and you're going to have to sign the copy for me and everything.
I will sign. I'll sign anybody's
all your books I have are signed. So
it's funny enough. This weekend I got shit from my father-in-law. I'm staying at my in-laws while I'm over. I'm from a few hours away. Came here for a concert and to see my good friend Bueller here, and it was my father-in-law. I gave him a copy of A Silent Night last time I was in town, and he was like, "You didn't sign my book, by the way." I was like, "I promise I'll sign it."
Well, I mean, Bob, he wouldn't let me sign his book either.
Oh yeah.
That last time, remember? I had him sign mine, the one we did, but yeah, when he showed it, he's like, no.
I didn't go in for the theatrics just to get the votes, right? Because I've already got my copy by you signed, so I wasn't going to take another copy and have you sign it just to be like, oh, my good friend Bueller's going to sign it right here on camera. I wasn't going for the votes like somebody else I know, but you know, it's all about, you know. Anyway, you got it.
You done?
You started it.
Anyway, Jess, I'm excited, man. Like I said, we got 25 days left for the campaign. When this airs on Monday. The link is down below. It's I Only Have Eyes for You. It's not the one for Bob. It's called I Only Have Eyes for You. It's a graphic novel, 100 plus pages. It's got a great team involved.
And I gotta tell you, so we have a lot of rewards and stuff. And
there you go.
One of the perfect ones, since we're on Coffee and Comics, we have our own exclusive coffee roasts available on that.
Oh, nice!
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, there's Rootless Coffee based out of Flint, Michigan. They hire comic book artists to do their bag art anyway.
Oh, cool!
And I might, you know, be buds with one of the owners. So we were talking one day, and he was like, "Yeah, like sometime I want to do this." And I was like, "Cool, could I do that?" And he was like, "Yeah." And
so little incentives.
Yeah,
the coffee always helps.
The bean,
always.
And the coffee's called "I Only Have Beans for You." I got to name it.
I only have beans for you. Last week we were squishing the beans.
We were.
And this week we only have beans for you.
Yeah, and I did the logo and like redid ours and put like coffee beans over it and stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Oh,
I'm really stoked about that one.
I'll have to take a look.
Got some cool prints. We have some more stuff coming that hasn't been revealed yet. Some mystery stuff, and a really cool thing. Our big like backer tier that you can do is you can actually get Jimmy to do a commission of you with any superpower that you want, and we'll make you a certified member of our world's Justice League. Speaking of, somebody mentioned the Justice Friends is something that they grew up on.
Super Friends. Yeah.
Super Friends, yeah. That was what my kind of inspiration was. I call them the Paladin Pals.
Nice.
Yeah, I want something more kind of cheesy, Silver Age, and like went for that. And
very cool.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. We'll see how it goes. I'm pretty sure. I know you're going to make it, and then this is just one of many other titles that you're going to do. So.
Yeah, and they're all just as long, I promise.
I want to ask you guys really quick. I did something on the channel just this last week. I hosted an auction for Dynamite Comics. And it's the first time I've ever done that. And honestly, it's something new to me. And I want to ask your guys' opinion. Is this something you would like me to do going forward? And it's really up to you guys. Whether you want me to do this going forward, I can. Basically, how the auction worked was Nick from Dynamite. He's the owner of Dynamite Comics. He's got a collections to sell, and he's looking for a place to sell it. And we have a nice audience that's looking for some books. He recognized that audience. He's offered to give me a percentage of the sales that helps me out on my end for my bus and my travels and all my adventures, and it makes it worth my while. But really, it's up to you guys whether you want me to do it or not. So I want to get your feedback if you enjoyed it, if you watched it. If you didn't watch it, let me know. But I wouldn't mind doing it. I actually had fun doing it and stuff. It needs to be a little more defined. It was our first time doing it, so there were some kinks.
You'll streamline it.
Yeah, exactly. But I wouldn't mind doing it once a month, hosting an auction for them. And another thing I want to point out, and Nick, like I said, he's the owner of Dynamite, so it's not just some Yahoo, because I take a lot of pride in my channel and the people I have on my channel and my friends I associate with that are on here, because if it's sold on my channel, I'm responsible for it. Even though Dynamite, it's their stuff.
But you let me and him on?
Yeah, that's a whole other story. But seriously, I take responsibility for it. Yeah. So that's why I felt pretty good about Nick, and I know they're a company, and it's just not some guy.
There's history there.
Exactly. So I mean, that's an official business, and so I feel a little bit better about that and stuff. So let me know what you guys think about the auction. If you guys want me to keep doing it or not, it's totally up to you guys if you want me to do it. So
make your voice heard.
I just want to put that out there. But really, I think that's about it.
Sweet.
Great topic this week. Great having you here, Justin.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. I like being here. So some other time when I'm in town, I definitely got to swing back by.
Yeah, and as soon as the camera stops, he's going to tell us all the Donnie Cates secrets. Right? Everything we need to know.
Everybody's like, I want to be in the room.
Everything we need to know. And then I'll kind of go and hint it to Donnie next time I see him, and he'll be like...
Yeah, and then when I'm seeing Donnie at Emerald City Comic Con at the beginning of December,
you talked to Bueller, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm going to see him and he'd be like, you need to shut your fucking mouth.
Stop telling Bueller. But I don't share it. I'm pretty good. I don't like come on the channel and share that stuff.
Well, yeah, that's why
so it's pretty solid.
When it's in
he knows that.
We bullshit. It happens. I'm sure I'm not the only one that knows Donnie's secrets. I'm not his best friend or anything, so I'm sure there's other people out there.
Rest in peace, Thor. Anyway, Justin, thank you for coming on again.
Thank you for having me.
This was awesome.
Having me.
Yeah, very cool. Don't forget to check out his Kickstarter campaign. Don't forget to check out the Indiegogo campaign for the Mars Attacks Red Sonja. We both got campaigns going on right now.
Give us all your money.
There you go. So you can get his book, or you can get me on the cover of a book. So you got some pretty cool options. Or you can get Bob's book. What's it called again?
The Rise of Bob.
The Rise of Bob.
The Rise of Bob.
Or the blank cover.
There you go. All right, everyone. Thank you again, Justin. And we'll give it to Bob. You want to take us out?
Sure thing. You guys know what to do. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You know what to do. We'll see you next time. Bye.